Okay, hi, I'm back again. So now I'm gonna be talking about period seven, what happened during period seven and why, and other related events, or key events, as you would say. So you see, the proverb lasts every rose that has its thorn. This proverb is very applicable to one of the defining features in this era, which was the progressive era. Urbanization and industrialization came with its cost, and it's a very hefty one. It affected every aspect of society, American society. And in an attempt to fix that, progressives came into being. They were a group of individuals that sought to improve living and working conditions, combat political corruption, regulate big business, and expand democratic participation. Progressive reformers such as Jane Addams advocated for social welfare and the establishment of settlement houses to aid immigrants and the urban poor. They also advocated for women's suffrage, leading to the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920, which granted women the right to vote. The Progressive Era also witnessed significant economic reforms, government intervention, and regulation of economy increased, as seen with the passage of the Sherman Antitrust Act in 1890, which is basically a measure put in place to prohibit monopolies and sustain competition so as to protect companies from each other and to protect consumers from unfair business practices. President Theodore Roosevelt's Square Deal policy sought to regulate big business and protect consumers through trust busting and the enforcement of antitrust laws. This era also saw the implementation of progressive taxes with the passage of the 16th Amendment in 1913, I believe, which allowed for a more equitable distribution of wealth. This period was also a time of increased American involvement in global affairs. Like we said, America reverted from a very secluded type policy to an expansionist foreign policy. Last period now they're like full blown, not minding their own business anymore. They emerged as a world power, seeking to expand its influence and protect its economic interests. This period also witnessed American imperialism, with the United States acquiring territories such as Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines after the Spanish American War in 1989, in 1899, 1898, sorry. The United States also played a significant role in Latin America, intervening military in countries such as Cuba, Panama, and Mexico to protect its economic interests and assert its dominance in the Western Hemisphere. World War One, which took place from 1914 to 1918, had a profound impact on the United States during Period 7. Initially maintaining neutrality despite their policy, the United States eventually entered the war in 1917 as a result of the Pearl Harbor bombing invasion, shifting the balance of power in favor of the Allied forces. The war had far reaching consequences domestically, leading to a surge in wartime production, increased government intervention in the economy, and the mobilization of the home front. The war also resulted in the passage of significant legislation, including the Espionage Act and the Sedition Act, which limited civil liberties in the name of national security. The aftermath of World War One brought about significant changes in American society and politics. The 1920s, known as the Roaring Twenties, was a decade of cultural and social transformation. It was characterized by increased consumerism, technological advancements, and changing social norms. The Great Gatsby is a very credible evidence or testament to that. With a little backstory, the Great Gatsby, I don't have to give you. You should know what the Great Gatsby by now if you're in eighth grade, for God's sake. Like, it's a very good book actually. I would recommend it. Spoiler alert: the main dude dies. Welcome. Back to what I was saying. This era saw the rise of the automobile industry, the growth of mass media and entertainment, and the emergence of a youth culture. However, the prosperity of the 1920s was not evenly distributed. Underlying economic weakness contributed to the onset of the Great Depression. The stock market crash of 1929 and the subsequent Great Depression defined the latter part of this particular period. The depression led to widespread unemployment, poverty, and economic despair. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform, the three R's, through measures such as the establishment of the Social Security system, the Works Program, Progress Administration, and the Tennessee Valley Authority. The New Deal reshaped the relationship between the federal government and the American people, expanding the government's role in providing welfare, social welfare, and regulating the economy. Furthermore, the United States' involvement in World War II had a transformative impact on American society in the sense that, and its position on the global stage. The war brought about a total mobilization of the nation's resources, leading to significant advancements in technology, industry, and science. It also had profound social and cultural consequences, including the increased participation of women in the workforce, the internment of Japanese Americans, and the civil rights movement as African Americans demanded equal treatment and opportunities. So, what was the conflict at the heart of the American interest in this era? Well, the World War One brought about was a very was I would say contributed to the conflict in this time period because World War One gave the government the ability to interfere in in individual American citizens' life basically because America has always had was always rebellious in all throughout history, American history. There was always been rebellious, and so the main I would say not goal, but the main thing is that they hate when the government intervenes in their personal matters. The idea of privacy is a very important topic to them, and for the government to use World War One as reason to interfere in affairs that do not concern them and to regulate affairs brought about widespread confusion not the word, but widespread hatred for the government, I would say. A second conflict that took place in this particular period was, if I had to say, it would probably be poverty. The Great Depression, that was a big deal, which I guess you would learn about, but that was a big deal because, I mean, the Great Depression, as it's it led to widespread unemployment, poverty, and economic despair. Like everybody was poor. If although World War One had its disadvantages, one advantage was the fact that it was able to end up with it was able to revive the economy because the wartime mobilization led to I would say gave birth to more benefits than disadvantages basically. So yeah, thank you.